The keys to all success are comprised in the practice of the success you want. Now, welcome back. This is a bit of a case study for most of the drummers who are trying to become drummers for particular churches and everything. So I'm going to try to help you through many of the difficulties of trying to play as a beginning drummer. First things first, always thank God for the talent that you want. Keeps you humble. Secondly, never forget the many people that you learn from as it pertains to that talent. Because again, if it's not a natural gift, you have to work it like a muscle. If the muscles are weak, that's because the mind is not taking in what it needs to. But enough of that. You ain't come for that. So, let me get this. This is particularly for a couple of drummers such as Mr. Jalen and everybody else. And so, we'll keep it together like this, okay? So, when he tunes in, and everyone else, just know I'm going right off of the auspices of playing during an AME or any type of church worship that you see. So let me just start off right out the gate. For most of my children, I have everything lettered. So, but for the adults and for young adults, I'm not going to do anything such as that. But if you're trying to go straight from the beginning and have the beginning practice or beginner's practice, I always call the bass pedal or bass drum A. B is the hi-hat. C, of course, is the snare, and the D's are the toms, okay? That's how it always goes. And the ones, these are all ones, okay? I'll show you how they go along. The first beat before anybody else, I'm pretty sure that Jalen and everybody else has heard this beat before. It's the same one, so I'll slow it down. Shuffle. But now let me break it out so you can make sure that you have everything together. Remember, the most constant instrument on the drums is the hi-hat, B, because it keeps the whole entire it keeps the whole entire beat for you in a metronome. Now, the most dominant is the bass, because it's a strong beat. 1. That's the most dominant. Now the most clarified, which one everybody likes to hear, is the clap. The clap being the snare, okay? So always remember, you have to break these up in order to get where they are. So I'm not sure exactly where Jalen is as it pertains to his expertise, but I'm going to try to go from the beginning to the end, from the most docile beginner to a little bit advanced, so that everybody can understand where I'm going. First of all, establish your beat. Okay? So I'll do this right quick. I will start on 1 and 3 for the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. To kind of give you some space of what to do. Keep it walking tempo. 2, 3, 4. Bob your head, bob your head, bob your head. Okay, got that? Now, remember when I said that the hi-hat or letter B was constant? Some people can't always do the constant, so I'm going to take you to the original, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going to go to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see the difference. Here we go. You can either go 2 ways. You can either go this beat right here, or you can swivel it and take it back to the shuffle. You can go either way. So, I'm going to start off the best way I know how. I showed you A, B, C. Now, for my kids here, I show them A, B, C, B for a reason. Because it starts you off easy without having to go a full chick. Because some people, they use their wrist too much. Always remember, you must rebound like a dribble. Rebound like a dribble. Do not ever, because it will retire your wrist and it will hurt like heck, I promise you. So always remember, when you're doing this, make this noticeable but not hard. Just, you can hear that, right? You can hear that without having to go too hard. Some people go disco wild on this right here. What? Why? So, make sure that the hi-hat, which is B, can be heard, but just enough for you to get your bounce, rebound. That's rebound. This is not rebound. This is hard. This is coarse. Okay? All right. So let me go back to the beginning, and this is the routine. A, B, C, D. I'll show you this way first for those who are left-handed drummers. A, B, C, D. Or avocado, burger, cheese, burger. It works for kids, but of course it works for anybody else. I'm going to take you to the most sophomore, most simple, and then I'm going to let go of the simple and just let you be your own person. Let me go back to the beat again. A little harder. I changed it. Difference. Okay. Did you hear that? Now, if you caught that, I went from to, I added 1 and 3 to that 2, 4, okay? Or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I went the whole 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So the whole thing is, you can either choose to do this when you're comfortable. You can choose to do that when you're comfortable and then slide away from it. Billie Jean with Michael Jackson. It's just a basic 4/4, like everyone gets started on. Okay, that's my first one. You can pretty much pause this and go right back to it. Let me do a full 16 bars of that beat so you can get it into your system. I'm going to do the original, the and I'm going to do the subdivision. Okay, so you can stay on cue. All right. I did a little variation there at the end with the bass, but it's okay, you can handle it. Now, you can play that back as many times. Moving on. This time, I'm going to over-clarify the bass, which means I'll give it all 4 beats. Over-clarify means you're just doing too much. Here we go. But we're keeping this, okay? Part of the beat. It came on 1, but it was over-clarified. So you saw how I moved in? Now, you heard something different. You heard me release the choke on the hi-hat. That is also an accent you can use. All right. So now, let's swivel the beat. Instead of doing a 4/4 that you just heard in a shuffle, let's go to the natural ballad beat. The natural, of course, country ballad beat. The reason why I didn't show you the subdivisions yet, because when you hear it, you already know naturally you want to do a subdivision. So here's what I did. Saw that? Saw how it was different? I didn't do as was suggested. I did. Because either way, you know what you're trying to hear. You pretty much know what you're trying to assume to play. So either way, if you do this right here, it is assumed the same. But please use the variations to your benefit. Okay? That's how it works. Now, take that part of the video and pause it at your leisure, okay? I'm gonna do it again. Let me go for about 32 bars, and I'm trying to have it fixed up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Uh-oh, unlocked. Let's unlock it. So if I did something that you probably were not used to, we'll do this a little bit later, but I'll show you how to do it. That's something we can do with a little bit of razzle-dazzle. I'm sorry for doing that. Let me take it back to the beginning. This is only beginners one-on-one. 1-1. 1-2 is a little bit harder. I'll go one more time. My foot never gets tired when I do that is because you ever notice that whole sensation that you use on your tiptoes? That's how I'm playing. I'm not playing flat-footed because flat-footed would suggest that your whole foot is what? Relaxed. And you do not play. You have to stand on your tiptoes a little bit on the crown of your foot and your tips to get a good definite sound. If you're just You cannot be a drummer and be too relaxed. Yeah, we can use the foot to stomp on, but of course, the whole point is if you want a definite sound from it, you have to use your whole entire foot, which means you extend your knee. All right? So remember, this is A, right here, B, that's C, and of course the D's are up here. All right, in the next video, I might introduce some quads to everyone. Now, hang on a second, because I got to fix this pedal a little bit so it can tighten up. I already tightened up everything as the legs and the pegs and everything, so I want to have a definite hit when I do this. Because if you notice how I play, I lay in, I promise you, I lay into that bass. You can hear how this is the sounds. My strong beat can never be mistaken. I make a strong beat every single time on what? Because I want people to hear it, sound it off. Air that mess out. Air it out. Let people hear that you're playing. You cannot be a timid drummer or a timid percussionist of any kind. Even with the bongos over there, if bongos would suggest you doing as number one, you have to lay it off. One. If you're going to do that, make sure you're dominant on beat one. Okay. Pauses at your leisure. We already did the country ballad beat, so let me move on. This is an assumed 6/4, 6/8, 3/4 fast, or even a 9/12. Okay, 6/4 and 9/12 are kind of one and the same as it pertains to speed. But let me not go ahead of you. You can even do 4/4 with triplets. But this is what it sounds like. Sorry about that. So you pretty much get the idea. All right. For those who usually play in the AME circuit, or anyone who does the doxology, you know that is very beneficial to what you're looking at. So the praise God from whom all blessings flow, not the one that, the dumb in the drum one. No, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Hey, what I say? Stop doing that. Give us some character. When you're using your 3/4 or your 4/4 triplets, always make sure that your strong beat is on 1. You hear I stomp that? The strong beat will always carry the whole motive of the song. But like I told you, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you realize that this number B, letter B is the actual thing that keeps it together. That's like the metronome. So your bass has to carry it. How's it going? Your bass has to carry it. All right? So we already know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It always comes on like a really weird beat. But if you're doing 4/4 and triplets, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. See what I'm saying? So it's always 2 and 4, as was suggested in 4/4. Okay, so there it is. So please pause this end, of course. I'm just showing you all the beats that you can run down during church, during any event that would have that, okay? Even if I take it to the other side of the world and do Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. It is the same beat as what I just showed you, the doxology. So no matter what the beat is, we do realize that music is always universal. The beats are always universal, okay? Anybody can have any facet of music played, and you'll always hear the same age-old ballads, age-old hip-hop, age-old pop, age-old type of country and country beat, okay? So don't ever shirk from that, okay? Just know, everything has been done that's already been done. It's never too late to learn something new. Now, like I said, every single time you get something on this live, make sure you run back the beat. Run back the beat and listen to it again. Watch how I'm doing my sticking techniques, and even incorporate your own. So, at the end of this, I want you to try to, as much as possible, if you have a sound system, put my playing up against yours and try to play with me as you hear me. Because the only way you can play and strengthen your muscle, your intellect about music, is if you play it. Music is always almost 60% physical, 40% mental. If you think about it, you're not playing. If you're playing, you're thinking about it. Okay? The thought comes in your movements, okay? I can't do no feel like this. I can't do any of that by just looking, maybe I should. No. You make it happen. That's how it's supposed to work. A lot of people, they get into their own mind about playing. So what I said to Jalen at the time, or Brother Jones, is that don't ever get caught up in how many of the instruments you're playing. You stick to a pattern, and if you feel comfortable in that pattern, then move away. If you feel uncomfortable, skip back. So I will show you now the more advanced shuffle beat that I did at the beginning of this live. you want to get cold enough. You want to get gold enough, over exceed what I did. It's not about the person that you're learning from, it's what you're learning towards. So no matter whose face is on here, you still are able to play based off of your own opportunity of knowing how to play. All right, keep it cool. So that's almost my time, but let me show you one last thing before we go. Remember what I said about not retiring your wrists and not hitting so hard to where you won't allow your hand to rebound? See that right there? That comes without any stress in my arm. I'm not using my whole arm to play. No, I'm not. Because you don't need your whole arm. Okay, what do I mean by retiring the wrist? That means you're playing so hard off your element until you feel a slight tensity or burn in this muscle right here, underneath your wrist. If you feel that, stop. Stop and regroup. So, let me show you how to do it. Again, all you gotta do is do your hand like this. Like as if you're waving goodbyes to someone sadly, but you don't want to like bother them. So, you see this? This takes absolutely no stress to do. The only stress is the gravity on your elbow to say, okay, put your hand down. So, knowing that, put a baton or a drum or a mallet into your hand and do this. And you'll notice that there's no stress. If you're doing this, you did wrong. You're going to feel it. You feel it in your chest. Okay? So always remember, make sure you're moving according to what? Response and rebound. Took absolutely no stress to do. Took no stress to do at all. Okay? So, watch your patterns of being able to be extremely loose. I can do that all day and still not get tired because I'm not overworking my mechanism. So, now you understand what it means not to stress or overwork the joints just to do a couple of moves. Alright, so play this video back. I keep reminding you on the slide, play the video back until you pretty much understand how to use every single technique you just heard. So, back to the last one, which was the country ballad. Or in this case, when we did, you heard that during the beat I just did previously. So I went in and out of the beat, but it was still 4/4. Always make sure, if you're going to be creative, that it lines up with going back to 1. Because you have a whole lot of space between 1 and 4. A whole lot of space. So let me start with the rim shot and see if I can do the same thing. Let me slow it down. Sometimes you ought to establish the beat in your bass almost all the time. I'll take it right here. So if you can listen really carefully. So remember, establish a beat according to. So if you want to do something, make sure you perfect the beat and the strong beat first before the weak beats, okay? The weak beats can only come in when you pretty much know how your strong beat's gonna go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. stuff in between, you can pretty much use that to your benefit. So this time, I'm just gonna ride off the hi-hat only. Watch. I didn't get off one bit, no matter what I was doing. Go back to the cymbal. No matter where the beat was, you can always go back to one if you establish the one. If you don't establish the one, you might trip yourself up, for beginners only. But for those such as Tim Slice and like a couple of others, like Roderick, a couple of others, and a whole lot of bevy of drummers, you know, Lewis, Clyde, all of them from them, I mean, everybody. Everyone who I've ever played with, they can go in and out of the beat because they can hear a strong beat in their head, even if they don't use one, okay? So always remember, for the beginners, make sure you find that one every single time. Stay on that one and in the pocket. Remember that. Okay, so that is my time for right now. I'll be coming back on probably next Thursday or next Friday to follow up with this video. So for those who I've helped, if I helped at all, make sure that you use that to your advantage. Always pause back, fast forward, pause, go back, fast forward, and so you can just keep lining yourself up with the beat. I told you. It's like a muscle. If you don't work and flex the muscle, if you don't do a couple of intellectual push-ups, if you don't pretty much range yourself for where you're trying to go and get the range every single time, it won't be worked. Everything, including the pianos over here, steel pan over there, xylophone over here, it takes a little bit of mental work, okay? But your hands do all the movement. So let your mind control your hands, control the talent. All right? There it is. And I'm smooth gone. Keep yourself in the right frame of mind every day. Stay out of trouble. And perhaps I'll see you in town or something like that. But other than that, much love to everyone here. Let the processes of what you do line up for where you want to go. That's all I'm talking about.